Hi guys, it is October 9th, yeah it is now, like 3 minutes ago, 2018, and we are horror movie buffs, so we watch a lot of horror movies, like from really bad C grade crap to like the really good ones, indie, homemade, 2-minute things on YouTube, theatrical releases, whatever. We watch them all. Stupid movies. And good ones. Some are good. Some end up being pretty good.
Most are bad.
Most
It's
are
Netflix.
bad. Most are bad. No, we don't just get them from Netflix. We get them from Shudder, and from Hulu, and from Redbox, and from YouTube. We are not picky. But in this video, we are counting down the top 25 horror movies that Netflix has available for 2018. So if you get started now, you can do like one horror movie a day on Netflix and like have a couple left over because we're getting started on this really late. So here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Movie number one is
The Shining.
The Shining.
Because it's an all-time best on Netflix anyway.
Because The Shining is a really good movie, and we're talking about the original, Jack Nicholson, here's Johnny, the one that Stephen King, like, absolutely hated. Oh my god, there's another wolf spider. Kidding me.
I
Right
see
there.
it.
Can you kill it?
Ugh. I'm going.
It's the fifth one we've killed in like 3 days.
Where'd it go?
It's going towards the... Talking about horror movies, our living room is a horror movie right now.
Alright, its legs are everywhere now. Don't worry.
Okay. So number one is The Shining. Jack Nicholson, original version, the one Stephen King hated, but we still think it's pretty good. And number two is, I'm going to say The Witch. Did you see? You didn't see it.
I didn't?
Okay, people either really liked it or like really hated it, and it is a weird movie. Like, it's not a slasher, like full of jump scare movie like the trailer would have you believe. It is more of like an artsy, art house, deep thinking folk horror. It's folk horror. I like it. Next. Okay, number two is Steakland.
I didn't know that was on it.
Yeah, it and the sequel, Steaklander. It's the sequel. I really liked it, and for the longest time I wouldn't watch it because I thought the title was really stupid. I thought it was going to be like Zombieland, but with vampires. But it's really, really good. It's like, it's not The Walking Dead. It's not Zombieland. It's a really kind of mellow, atmospheric horror movie. Very folksy. It reminds me of like a Civil War type film. I really liked it. But it does move kind of slow. It does have vampires though. Number three, As Above, So Below. I don't know how you feel about found footage movies. But even my 7-year-old daughter likes this one. This is, underground in Paris, and it's like Wrong Turn or something, but set in the Paris underground. And I know I'm not describing it very well, but it's really, really interesting. As Above, So Below.
My turn.
Number four.
Children of the Corn.
Really?
Yeah.
It's classic. It came out in 1984, also based on two Stephen Kings we have so far. All the others that came after it were really crap, but actually, yeah, the first one was pretty good. We have lots of cornfields around here.
Is it number 5 now?
Yes.
The Strangers.
Home invasion horror.
The Strangers 2, not so much.
Home invasion horror is like some of the scariest movies to me. I don't like the possession movies and the haunted house movies and stuff I like, but home invasion actually scares me. The Strangers, small cast, understated.
It shows you what would really happen in a situation like that.
I think it's fairly realistic. Low cast, low budget, low plot, but it all works. Okay.
All of the Chucky series.
Pick one. Pick one Chucky movie.
Cult of Chucky.
That's the newest one. That one came out in 2017.
Whoa. Yes, last year? Yesterday year?
I didn't think it was as good as the one before it, where they're in like the old
Curse of Chucky.
Yeah, I liked that one. But Cult of Chucky's not bad. I mean, it's not like, it's not as funny. It's not like all, Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky and all that. But it's not super scary, but it's still pretty good. It kind of falls somewhere in the middle there.
That's gonna hurt in the morning.
Alright, number 7. The Ritual.
The Ritual.
This one is a Netflix original, and it's horror, but it's a cross between folk horror and survival horror. So, like, these dudes go out in the woods, or, I don't know, Sweden. I think they're in Sweden. It could be Finland, but they're in one of those northern European countries. They're out in the woods, they get lost, they get injured, and then, like, weird stuff starts happening. And then that part's the survival horror, and then from there it kind of turns into folk horror.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, it definitely has its problems, and at the very end, it's like a monster horror. So they're trying to cram a bunch of stuff together, but it works too.
How about I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House?
It's very slow, and it's very boring. I'm not counting it. So number 8, the Chernobyl Diaries.
It's about a group going with this weird Russian guy in a van into the Chernobyl town.
Pripyat. They're going to Pripyat.
And they find a bunch of monsters, and they figure out that everyone that goes there, they like lock them up in a cell to be eaten once they find out they've been there.
It's
basically the gist. I mean, creepy monsters
in Chernobyl. Creepy monsters, radiation, in Chernobyl. So, I mean, you've got urban explorers, you've got creepy monsters. It is also found footage, so if that turns you off, you may not want to go there, but it's good. We like it. Number 9, Lost Shift, which for the longest time I thought it was Last Shift because the O has got like a pentagram in it. I loved this movie. I kept finding it on like all the lists of, Netflix movies you need to watch. I'd never heard of this movie, and it's gained kind of a cult following. It is so good. It's about this police officer, and they're building a new jail. So she's taking this kind of last shift at the old jail, and she's in there all alone, and really crazy, creepy stuff happens to her. I watched it late at night by myself, and it actually kind of scared me.
But I think Creep 1 was better.
Creep 1 was better, but Creep 2 wasn't bad. If you haven't seen the Creep movies, they're about this guy who places ads like on Craigslist or something, for a videographer, and then when the videographer gets there, the dude is super, super weird. It is also found footage or kind of mockumentary. It's really hard to explain, but it is all, filmed from first-hand video camera. I love it. We don't want to give it away.
Okay.
I know. Well, it's not that obvious. You don't know from the very beginning. You know something's going to happen, but you don't know what. I love the Creep movies. I think they're really good. Like the main guy, wrote it and directed it and produced it and stuff. It's about as low budget and indie as you can possibly get. And number 12, Before I Wake. It is, here's my daughter. Woo! She loves this movie. It's not really so scary so much as it is kind of spooky and creepy. But it's about this little boy who goes, he's a foster child, his mother is dead, and he goes to all these different foster families, and something bad happens in all of them. And it turns out, like, his dreams come true. Whatever he dreams manifests in the physical world.
Like a creepy monster at the mall.
Yes, don't tell him it's the mall that gives it away. Number 13 is
The Conjuring. Is that the one with, Alright, explain it to me.
The Conjuring's where this whole family, they have like a bunch of daughters. They buy this new house out in the country, and when they get in there, really creepy stuff starts happening. It's a haunted house horror movie. It's also based on a real investigation done by Ed and Lorraine Warren. And if you're like me and you have issues with the Warrens, you may think you should stay away from this movie, but they're not annoying or anything. The Warren part is just a really small part of the story, and it's good. I mean, the actors all do a great job. It really is a good spooky haunted house movie. The sequel, the whole Conjuring universe is actually pretty good. The Conjuring 1, The Conjuring 2, Annabelle, Annabelle Creation, The Nun, all of those are alright. But the original Conjuring is the best. Red Dragon. Originally, this was it's a book. It's a book in the same universe as Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal. Originally, this was made as a movie back in like I think it was the 80s called Manhunter, and I liked it when it was Manhunter. But then they went ahead and they remade it in 2002 with Edward Norton and Ralph Fiennes, and they called it Red Dragon, which was the book's title too. And again, like it's not quite. It is it's home invasion and serial killer horror, so it freaks me out because I watch these kinds of movies and I think that could maybe really happen. Red Dragon. My husband isn't really into it. He's like he watched it once and that was enough for him. But I rewatch it probably at least once a year because the acting in it is excellent and yeah, it's scary. I don't want people breaking in on me and killing me. Now, Cabin Fever, the original Cabin Fever that came out in 2002. It's an Eli Roth film. Don't feel like you have to stay away from it because this isn't quite hostile. It's not that caliber of Eli Roth, but it is really, really gory. Like, I mean, it's about these people who go to a cabin and they get flesh-eating disease and their skin falls off and they die. So as you can imagine, it's not one that you necessarily want to watch while you're eating supper, but it's really weird. Like it's a fun kind of bio-terror movie, and it's got quite a bit of humor in it too. It's weird. Like it's creepy, but I also laugh every time I watch it. Even my mom, who doesn't really get into scary movies, even she thinks Cabin Fever is kind of funny. And here's another one that my daughter likes. Would You Rather?
There's somebody named my name.
There's somebody. Oh, you're gonna have to come over here on this other side. They can't see you. Sorry. My little cat is trying to nurse from my daughter's blanket here. So, Would You Rather is a movie that we watch together sometimes.
It's not like a kind of Would You Rather. It's like, would you rather have a puppy? It's Would You Rather tie.
Yeah, it's not like Would You Rather Have a Puppy or a Kitty. It's Would You Rather Have Your Ear Cut Off or Your Finger Cut Off.
Or your nose cut.
When they call this like one room horror, where the whole movie takes place in one single room and there's a group of people, and all these people come to a dinner party and they're told that they're gonna have to play a game, and like if they win, they get like all the money they could ever want and all their dreams will come true.
$1,000.
Thousands and thousands of dollars, but of course it's not as simple as that. It's a little gross in parts. It is kind of scary. Like we have to look away. There's several scenes that are like, like we can't do, we can't do that. But it's still really fun, and she likes it. I mean, she can sit through it. Please don't think badly of me that my 7-year-old is sitting through that movie, but we really enjoy it. Okay, next is Oculus. So this is another indie horror film, and it's by director Mike Flanagan, who also did Before I Wake, and he's done Absentia and The Haunting of Hill House, which is now a miniseries on Netflix, which we haven't seen it yet, so we're not talking about it. But Oculus is a really good indie horror film about a haunted mirror, which is not something that like you see a lot of. And the next movie is
Babadook.
Babadook.
The freaking Babadook.
Is she mentally ill? Is she schizophrenic? Is the kid like some kind of psychic or just some little rat? Or is there like a real Babadook monster? We don't know. We don't care. It's still a good movie.
We're not telling you.
She gets scared when she watches it. Our next one is Sam's idea, but one of Iris's favorite movies. It is
47 meters down.
47 meters down. It is animal bio horror. It is about sharks. And people go out for a shark tour. They're put in a cage. The cage comes loose. And guess how far down they end up going into the ocean?
47 meters down.
50 meters.
It is fun. Is it? You know exactly what you're getting with this movie. It is fun. It is
Terrifying.
like satisfying. There's no deep message here or anything. You get what you think you're going to get. Now, for me, The Invitation is another one. It's not one that the kids can really sit through. It's really slow. It's a thinking movie. It's basically they sit around and talk. Not quite one room horror because they're in like three different rooms, but it is very much a secluded. Like there's not a lot of action and other sets in it. I love The Invitation because I really enjoy movies about cults. And this one is a slow burn. Like when you start watching it, it moves really, really slowly. All these people come over for a dinner, what they think is a dinner party with friends they haven't seen in a while. And there's a sort of undercurrent of hostility or an undercurrent of something being weird, but it doesn't become clear as to what, it is until the very end. And it kind of goes out in a bang. I love this movie. I can't say enough good things about it.
Hush is about a deaf person while a serial killer is trying to break into her house and she has to survive the night.
It is also a home invasion movie, and like Before I Wake and Oculus, it's by Mike Flanagan. You want to add anything about Hush?
Well, Hush, like, at some, like, she has a friend.
She has a friend. She does have a friend. There we go.
Little Evil's about
Lean forward, honey. You're getting caught behind my.
is Little Evil the guy adopting the kid?
I think it's a stepdad.
He inherits the kid, and it turns out the kid's like the spawn of Satan or something, and he does a lot of messed up stuff.
It's kind of like The Omen, but it also has a lot of humor in it too. So Little Evil.
A little too much.
Alright, and next is Backcountry. If you're into survival horror, Backcountry is about this couple that goes hiking in the mountains and a bear comes after them. Like for most of the movie, the bear is after them. It's really fun. I always kind of root for the animals in bio horror and survival horror. I was kind of rooting for the bear. But it's a little too gruesome for my husband. So if you get grossed out by like flesh wounds, may not be something you want to look into. Veronica.
That was a good movie.
Veronica was a great movie. It is Spanish with English subtitles, but I didn't think Iris would really be interested in it because it wasn't in English, but she was able to understand most of the movie, and then we read the subtitles to her where we had to. It's a possession, so it's possession subgenre, and it is a ton of fun. I mean, it's this poor family who live in a little apartment getting, terrorized by a demon. Next, we have A Dark Song. This is kind of folk horror or magic horror. A woman's child has died, so she hires this guy, this like witch, Wiccan. It's kind of hard to explain. To come and do this ritual with her, and the ritual takes 6 months to do. And at the end, she will meet her guardian angel, and she can ask him anything of him that she wants. So the whole movie takes place in this house that she's rented. They're not allowed to go outside, and it's just the two characters performing this ritual. And as time goes on, things get spookier and crazier and crazier. It is a very slow moving movie, but it's definitely horror, or at least creepy. And it's also kind of a beautiful movie too. Like I was scared and I walked away from it. Like I really thought a lot about things by the time it was done. Next.
Train to Busan. Is that how you say it?
Yes, go for it.
It's a zombie. I'm gonna go.
Like a Korean zombie movie.
Yeah, they're going on a train to Busan. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's a mythical movie. Aren't zombies considered a myth?
I think zombies kind of have their own subgenre now,
I mean,
zombie horror.
It could technically be something, maybe not like the movie say.
That's true. That's true. We don't really know.
Fiction, non-fiction?
It's definitely fiction. I don't think zombies have taken over the Train to Busan. We've never been. Maybe they did.
Yeah.
You know those Busan.
Alright. So we've totally lost count, but that's okay. We're still going to go over the rest of the horror movies on Netflix that we like. Next, we have The Reaping, which is definitely religious horror, but also could fall into folk horror. So the main character is Hilary Swank, and she's a scientist, formerly really religious, who goes into where they're having religious miracles, and she tries to debunk them. So she gets called to this small town in the south where all these things are happening that look a whole lot like revelations. And she's trying to prove to them that none of them are real, that they have like it's natural phenomena. But the longer she stays, the more convinced she becomes that maybe there really is something bad going on. The reaping. Yep.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
That's got to be a guy movie.
It is.
Yeah.
It's about two guys going on a vacation. They're in a log cabin. There's a group of teens. I think one of their friends dies. They blame it on the two guys, Tucker and Dale, and they start trying to kill him, but they keep on killing themselves, and they're just really confused. They're just trying to have a vacation.
It's funny.
One of them jumped in a wood chipper.
It is funny.
It's cute.
The Veil. So if you're into cult horror, The Veil is one of the better ones. It's kind of based on, Jonestown. It's like there's this one girl. She was the sole survivor of a mass suicide in a cult like Jim Jones's cult. And these filmmakers are taking her back to the jungle where this happened, and they're doing kind of a documentary on it. While they're there, weird stuff happens, like maybe the place is haunted, or maybe there's a demonic presence, we don't know.
Maybe it's them.
But things go awry, and that is The Veil.
It's a dark comedy.
What can
Don't
we say
watch
about
it if
Tusk?
It's disgusting.
Wait, don't whisper to me. When we're finished talking about this, you can talk in your normal voice. Tusk is disgusting.
And I watched The Walking Dead.
It's awesome.
I watched Cabin Fever 2, 15 whole minutes in. That's a world record.
Yeah, Cabin Fever 2, we only got 15 minutes into it, we had to turn it off, it was too gross. Tusk is very disturbing at the end. It's Kevin Smith.
Like, I couldn't have walrus sit around me for about a week.
If you don't really get into Kevin Smith movies, you may want to stay away from this one. But it's kind of a monster movie. I think it's hilarious.
This guy is, he got saved by a walrus. And
now he's trying to recreate the walrus that saved him. Let him be surprised.
I gotta tell him.
No, you don't have to tell him. Okay, moving on.
Alright, here's the plot.
No, quick.
Pay the Ghost.
Pay the Ghost. It's a Nicolas Cage movie. Yeah. So, move over here.
It's basically this guy trying to pay a ghost.
This is basically this guy trying to pay a ghost. It's about this guy whose son disappears on Halloween night. And over the course of the next year, he keeps getting signs that his son may still be out there, like, trying to get a message to him. And he discovers that lots and lots of kids have disappeared on Halloween night. So the movie's not bad. For a Nicolas Cage movie, it's not bad. But what I feel about it is they got, like, all the way up to the end of the movie, and then they didn't know how they were going to end it, or else they ran out of budget. So they just threw an ending onto it and said, nobody will watch it, so it won't matter.
Everyone watched it.
Yeah, everyone watched it, and it did matter.
It's about, as good as a Nicolas Cage movie would get.
Yeah, like, it's not as good as Face Off, or Con Air.
Are you really comparing Pay the Ghost to Face Off?
Well, those are there was an actual movie called Face Off with Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. They get their faces cut off and put on the other one's face.
Oh,
Face Off. Yes, and that movie was actually pretty good. It was an action movie, so it's not as good as that one or Con Air. But it's not as bad as, say, the Wicker Man remake. I can't even go there. Y'all have no idea how much I love the original Wicker Man movie. The fact that Nicolas Cage, I was rooting for the witches by the end of the movie. It's like Rosemary's Baby.
My
legs! Not the bees!
Forget that you're burning in a tower, man. The bees.
In the original, it was before they had all these rules about animal cruelty in movies. So in the original, when they put the guy in the Wicker Man, they had goats and stuff above him. And, some of the goats got so scared they peed on the dude. I was hoping that goats would pee on Nicolas Cage. This is where we got in the movie. So 1922 would be our third or fourth Stephen King story on the list. It's based on a novella in one of his other stories. Thomas Jane plays the lead guy. He lives on a farm in the Midwest. Poor dude just wants his farm, and his wife wants to leave him, and she's gonna like sell the farm, and he doesn't want her to because he doesn't want to go live in the city. So he kills her, and he hides the body, and that's where things start going wrong. Thomas Jane puts in an excellent performance in this movie. It's a period piece set in 1922. Shocker, I know.
1922,
Give it.
Cornish sailed the ocean blue.
Yes, this is what Kentucky education is like. Another Netflix original, This Is How It Ends. I kind of think maybe they came up with the title because they originally had a question mark at the end. This is how it ends, because the ending of this movie kind of sucked. But the rest of it was good. It's kind of Armageddon horror, into the apocalyptic horror. That's it, apocalyptic horror. It's also kind of a road trip movie, like a road trip horror apocalyptic film, if you will. I really liked. I love Forrest Whitaker. Like, Forrest Whitaker can really do no wrong in my book. And again, the movie is fun, and it's a good action film up until like the last 30 seconds of it. If you make it that far,
Good for you.
stick with it. Good for you. Interview with the Vampire. I know Anne Rice kind of threw a fit when the movie first came out because she didn't think that Tom Cruise could play the part, and then apparently she watched A Few Good Men and she decided, yeah, okay, maybe he can act, so he might be alright in the movie. And then the movie came out and she was like, hey, that wasn't so bad. I could care less about Tom Cruise in Interview with the Vampire. The real star is Brad Pitt and his hair. And his lips, his pretty lips. It's a good movie. It doesn't stick completely with the book, but the book was really long and involved anyway, so that was never going to happen. But I still love Interview with the Vampire. Forget that Queen of the Damned even exists. And the fact that they have, like, the queen go up in flames at the end, and that's how Aaliyah, who played her, died, just a few months before the movie was released. It's a little distasteful, and it's bad. But Interview with the Vampire, it's sexy, hot vampires in a period movie. You cannot go wrong with this, trust me.
You cannot. I don't think I can.
7. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is God.
Oh, Morgan Freeman.
Brad Pitt again. Brad Pitt's a rookie cop, rookie detective, and Morgan Freeman is the detective who's getting ready to retire. Gwyneth Paltrow is the wife of the rookie. So there's a serial killer in town, and he is going around killing people in the same manner of the 7 deadly sins. It is one of the best horror movies that I have ever seen, and I would call this kind of procedural horror or serial killer horror. Maybe it can fall into both subgenres. It is an atmospheric movie. It's very stylized. It holds up well. It came out when I was in high school, and it looks as good today as it did then when it freaked us all the hell out.
Alright, I can take on the 6th Sense.
Okay, go for it.
I'd say it's not really as much a horror movie. It is like a story. Is that a thing?
Like a ghost story,
Ghost
maybe.
story. I'll regret saying this later, but at first it's kind of slow.
It is. It
Yeah.
takes it a while.
It gets slow. It's about a guy that meets this kid.
Psychologist
And meets a kid that can see ghosts. But there's a twist at the end. I'm not going to say.
Honestly, I feel like The Sixth Sense. Is one of those movies that gets better with each additional viewing. I think the first time you watch it, you're watching it kind of for the story, and then when you find out what the twist is, and you go back and watch it again
To figure out what
you
clues.
missed. Yeah, what clues. I think that it works really well that way. Yes. Yes, that's it. That's the movie. Iris likes The Sixth Sense. I showed it to her one night. And it's a movie that's kind of kid-friendly, too. Most of the movies on this list are not kid-friendly. And the last movie, Sam, take it away. What's it called and what's it about?
The Boy. It's about, a nanny that has gone to a house to take care of someone's kid. Turns out it's a doll.
Leave it right there. and weird stuff
Come
starts
on.
happening. You
Yeah.
want to tell the
Yes.
ending. The idea is to get these people to watch these
Okay.
movies. You can't give away all the endings. And creepy stuff starts happening. I mean, you've got an old creepy house. You've got people who act really
You
weird.
got a doll.
You got a doll. I mean, and you've got Maggie from The Walking Dead.
Can't
So,
get much better
thank
than
you.
that.
These are our top Netflix horror movies for October 2018. Now, stay tuned, and we will also do one for Hulu.
Now, the best movie would be someone trying to kill Nicolas Cage. Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I would sometimes like to kill Nicolas Cage. Just throwing that out there. If you're also in the mood to make a commitment to something and you want more than just a movie, Santa Clarita Diet is not really horror. It's like
It's
dark
good.
dark comedy, and it is a series. There are 2 seasons out now. If you're into cannibalism and Drew Barrymore, you could do a lot worse. Bye.